135 pounds. Wearing the purple trunks with a tremendous ring record, 40 wins, 60 defeats, with 39 great knockouts, a household name around the world. Let's greet Alex the Destroyer Stewart. To be outdone in the red corner from Miami, Florida, the Sunshine State. With a ring record, 17 wins, 3 defeats, 1 loss, with 10 knockouts. He weighed in this evening at 222 pounds, wearing the black trunks trimmed with gray. The former IBF Cruiserweight Champion of the World, James Waring.
Well, I've always liked to call him Waring as well. I don't like the idea of calling him Waring. But anyway, James Waring it is. And of course, the MC meant to say 17 wins, 3 losses and a draw. Well, not 3 losses and 1 defeat. So, James Waring then with the white waistband and stripe against Alex Stewart. Stewart's incredible record, 40 wins, 39 of them, by the way, via knockout. Only one man has been beaten on points by Stewart, and that was Jesse Ferguson, and that was 2 years ago. And the other very decent thing about the stats for Stewart, he's lost 6 fights, 5 of them have been against world champions. Evander Holyfield twice, Mike Tyson, Michael Moorer and George Foreman. And the other loss on the record was against Craig Peterson 2 fights ago, stopped in 9. So Alex Stewart then, very experienced fighter at high level, lives in Jamaica these days. Went there, I think, when he was 9 years of age with the family. And a few good wins on the Waring record, or Waring record. He first beat Nate Miller to become NABF champion back in 1990. But you may remember he also beat James Pritchard for the IBF Cruiserweight title, a vacant crown. And he actually beat Pritchard in world record time. It was something ridiculous, but he only hit him once and it was all over. Also, one of Johnny Nelson's off nights was against Waring for the IBF crown. And unfortunately, my mate Johnny, well, he just didn't perform and lost on points. I suppose the best result for Waring came when he fought Alex Garcia in 1993. As you know, one time Garcia was rated by me as a potential world beater. Unfortunately, he shone brightly for a very short time. And in that short time, Waring managed to get a draw with him over 12 rounds. One of 2 European visits for Waring was a 10-round points loss to the big punching and sadly late Norbert Akassi of France and the Cameroon. I don't know if you know this, but Akassi a couple of years ago, or it might have just been a year ago in fact, on Christmas Eve of all days, thumped the plate glass window, severed an artery in his arm, died within 2 minutes. Now, Stewart, eh? Don't forget, it's the full point scoring system in America. Stewart won his first 24 fights by knockout, and that equaled Mac Foster's record for consecutive knockouts at the start of a career by an American heavyweight. And if you remember back, Tyson only won his first 19 fights by knockout, so quite an achievement there by Stewart. So into round 2. And really, I suppose both these men are just kicking over the traces of careers that, well, for Stewart, really, he was never going to be big enough, I don't think, or hit hard enough to really make it past being well, not even a contender, really. And Waring will never reach the dizzy heights of championship stardom as a heavyweight, I wouldn't have thought. Unless, of course, he forms his own body, which is conceivable. Yes, Stewart's always filled the role as a very good opponent. I don't think he's ever been considered as a contender for the title for some odd reason. And you think that so many men have fought for it with such inferior records to Stewart's. But then again, I suppose his time is about gone by now. 32 years of age. And his best days are probably behind him. Which means he'll probably get a world title shot very shortly. Right then from Stewart. And Waring making pretty good use so far in this second round of his longer arms. Maybe Lennox Lewis should defend against Alex Stewart. Just give him at least one world title shot before he calls it a day. And of course it'll be the first time that two Jamaicans have contested the heavyweight title. No, that's not true, is it? Because Lennox Lewis was born in London. Just making sure you're on your toes. Well, a fairly good start for Waring in this second round, but well, half a minute to go now. Looks like Stewart's pulled level. Well, that's probably a fairly level round, wouldn't you think? And for round two, and once again Waring there clubbing really with those punches, not really landing with the knuckle part of the glove, so I'm not going to count them. And I'll be honest with you, I've never really rated Waring as an attractive fighter. Sure, he was IBF Cruiserweight champion at a time when the Cruiserweight division was suffering badly from lack of character. But I suppose you can't take it away from him. But, you know, once again, I just never really enjoyed his style. Stewart trying to get past this long left hand now, and almost intent on landing nothing but the right. Stewart's won the first minute of round three. Sorry, Waring's won the first minute of round three. Fair right there from Stewart. some odd reason best known to himself, Waring has gone into a shell now. Well, Alex Stewart's won the second minute of round 2. Sorry, of round 3. So it's all on this third minute. Once again, it's a case really of Waring simply doing a fair amount in the first minute or so, but doing nothing for the final 2. And that's going to be a problem for him if he keeps that up. So, for reasons mentioned just a few moments ago, Stewart's going to win round 3 for me.
You're winning a round, but you're not doing enough. You're following. You got him cut off, and you're not throwing the punches. Every time he throws a left hook, break inside and crank your hook. He's wide open for it. You have to start letting go. Rough this guy up. Okay, rough him up a little bit. Get mean a little bit. Okay, get fucking mean. Don't get frustrated. I'll keep following your jab. Now you know fucking.
Rogues Gallery, isn't it? So a bit of replay here then. Waring sticks out the left hand, but Stewart threw a big shot over the top as we go now into round 4 of the scheduled 10. And he can be incredibly clingy, Waring. And you know, it takes 2 men to ruin a fight, and you know, Waring played his part. A significant part, in fact, in the Johnny Nelson IBF Cruiserweight title fight. Played his part in ruining it anyway. Stewart's orders are to rough up Waring. The second time Holyfield fought Stewart, couldn't stop him. And of course, when George Foreman fought Stewart back in '92, he couldn't stop him either. Well, that's a fair right for Waring. Once again, Stewart just getting an inch or 2 closer. Again, a right for Waring, catching Stewart. Really does have a lack of confidence. He used to fight in those tough man contests and win a few as well. And one wonders how, really. And he just suffers so much, I think, from a lack of confidence. He's winning round 4, though, at the moment. For this one, Tony Orlando, not to be confused, of course, with the singer from Dawn, if you remember those from the 70s. I don't. That's a thumping left hook from Waring. Caught Stewart high. It's a good good tactics then from Waring here in the fourth, and it's won that round for him, I think.
Record 17 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, and 10 wins by way of knockout.
He's trying to one-shot, you understand? He's following you around like a puppy.
Alex Stewart, well, great record. 40 wins, 60 defeats, 39 knockouts. That's quite something. There's a couple of good punches then from Waring as we go into round 5. Stewart around a point up at this stage. Once again, Waring looking dangerous for that overarm right. Oh, that's a low punch. Well, Waring didn't complain about that, and it's quite blatantly low. Waring's counter-punching pretty effectively now in this 5th round. Swinging right from Stewart. This has been a good round for Waring so far. Saying he's counter-punched quite effectively. Yes, that's a good round for James Waring.
Ain't even dripping right now. Beautiful, baby.
Waring, by the way, 37 years of age, 5 years older than this man, Alex Stewart. Cut down the left eyebrow. She's got some bottles.
Start snapping those punches up. When you get inside, push them.
So we've got 5 gone, 5 to go. 48 points each after 5 rounds. Well, that's a big arcing right hook from Stewart. Needs a few more of those, I think. And he's really got to start worrying Waring. That's the problem. Waring now starting to grow in confidence. He's had 2 good rounds. But you get inside and rough him up and hurt him. Well, he tends to go into his shell somewhat. And of course, Stewart's corner knows that. At the moment, Stewart's having trouble pinning him down. Starting to let the punches fly now, and the more that come his way, the less Waring likes it. Been a bad round at all for Alex Stewart. Got himself back into things now. Yep, he's going to get the lead on my card anyway at the halfway point. 58-57 now in favour of Alex Stewart, in my opinion. Into round 7, 4 rounds to go. Alex Stewart in the purple trunks is in front, in my opinion, by 1 point. And really this is a fight that Waring probably can win. taken too kindly to this one, voicing their dissent. Push down from Waring. Again, a hard round in which to separate them, but that might just be Stewart's, who knows? And for round 7, Stewart there on the, well, about to say on the rampage, but hardly, as we go into round 8. 3 rounds to go, and 68-66. I've got Stewart in front, and if you've got Waring in front, I wouldn't be at all surprised. One of those fights, isn't it? Say, I've come into this prejudiced anyway. I don't really like Waring's style. End of story. And of course, all judges and referees are human. Well, we think, and you know, they can be influenced simply by a style. They can see something they like, and they latch onto it, see something they don't like, and of course their mind goes against it. Most of the time it's completely subconscious, but you know, it's important to be attractive and appeal to the people that are watching you, and of course the judges are watching closer than anybody. Well, I think they were anyway. At least that's what they're paid to do. Tony Orlando, by the way, will not score this one. This is done by 3 ringside judges. And I'd like to see Britain start moving a bit more forward when it comes to scoring fights. Any bout of 10 rounds and over, I think, should be a referee and 2 scoring judges to render the decision. We've had a few run ones of late. And of course, the chances of 3 being wrong at the same time so much narrower than just one man. No, it's perfectly feasible and possible. There are often more than 2 referees at any one show at any one time, and there's no real reason why they shouldn't be put to work. Let the boxing board pick up their fee. Serious intentions that Waring may have had coming into this one look like they've dissipated now somewhat. He's kind of lost interest, really, hasn't he? He's a very negative fighter, and well, once again the boos ring out. I'd be awfully disappointed if they didn't boo this one, but they're probably missing the finer points of the game. Penultimate round then. Round 9. Well, it's mathematically just gone against Waring on points. Got in 3 behind, 2 to play. As I say, you make up your own mind. You know, don't listen to me. I've been wrong in the past, but I can't think when. Left hook from Stewart, but he threw it with his eyes shut and his head down. This crowd, what? Blood? As a former matchmaker, this is one fight I would not have served up. Just going in. I mean, just the 2 very names and the pairing between them surely would have had alarm bells ringing. But, you know, Stewart against somebody else, Waring against somebody else, and it might have actually turned into a fairly good blend, but against each other, it's just not working. Again, it's a round for Stewart, even if it's not.
You can't even fight a guy. They should take his fucking purse.
Stewart corner man said you can't even fight a guy like this, and they should take away his purse. Expletive, of course, deleted. The biggest cheer of the night should be for the announcement of the 10th and final round. So here we are then. This is the last session. It's a fair right from Stewart to start this one. And if ever a man was inappropriately named, it's got to be Waring. I mean, that's the last thing he wants to do. He is so negative, has always been negative. I suppose he won his tough man contest by running around and letting his opponents wear themselves out. Some members of the crowd have taken to pulling each other's toenails out just to get them a bit of stimulation. And really, Waring shouldn't be boxing with an attitude like this. It's a dangerous attitude. It'll get him in trouble against someone that wasn't quite as over the hill as Alex Stewart. It's all about money, I suppose. The problem for Waring, of course, you can only put him on in a town once. Twice before in New Jersey, and both times, by the way, were title fights. He won one and lost one. Well, last few seconds then. So all over now. 98-93 on my card. And even the hecklers can't be bothered. He didn't win every round, it's nonsense in the corner man, but he certainly won enough of them. I gave 2 against him. I gave 7 against Waring and 1 level. This was the start of round 10.
Of the judges. Judge Barbara Perez has it 97-93. Judge Nalvina Latham scores it 99-91. The final judge, John Riley, scoring it 98-92 for the winner by unanimous decision, Alex the Destroyer.
I wouldn't argue
Stewart.
with that for 1 second. Alex Stewart gets a unanimous verdict, but you know, he's terribly unhappy with the way the fight turned out. And I suppose this man is as well. I mean, who are you going to knock? It was just a terrible clash of styles. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it, and we're going to